amendment.
Amendment number 120, printed in House Report number 114-683, offered by Mr. Weber of Texas.
Pursuant to House Resolution 820, the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Weber, and a member opposed, each will control 5 minutes. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Texas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise to offer a very simple and common sense amendment to H.R. 5538, the Department of Interior and EPA Appropriations Bill. This amendment passed by a voice vote last year, and I hope all members can support it again today, or should I say tonight. America's job creators have faced an onslaught of regulations from the EPA, Mr. Chairman. Even as Congress has consistently reduced the agency's budget year after year. The EPA has proposed lower national ozone standards, regulations on new and existing power plants, regulations on waters of the United States, just to name a few. All of these regulations are based on questionable scientific data and will lead to higher energy prices for hardworking families and small businesses, and without a doubt will negatively impact American jobs. The agency has cited its authority under the Clean Air Act as the basis for many of its regulatory actions. However, when it comes to evaluating how its regulations impact American jobs, the agency has failed to follow the law. Section 321A of the Clean Air Act clearly states, quote, "The administrator shall conduct continuing evaluations of potential loss of shifts of employment, including where appropriate, investigating threatened plant closures or reductions in employment allegedly resulting from such administration or enforcement," end quote. Mr. Chairman, the EPA is even now involved in ongoing litigation for its failure to comply with this provision, and Congress has repeatedly heard testimony reinforcing EPA's failure to comply with Section 321A. In response to questions for the record during her Senate confirmation hearing, Administrator McCarthy said that the, quote, "EPA has not interpreted Section 321A to require EPA to conduct employment investigations in taking regulatory actions," end quote. Mr. Chairman, Congress put this provision into the Clean Air Act for a reason: to provide a necessary check on the regulatory powers of unelected bureaucrats at the EPA. In response to the EPA's refusal to follow the law, Congress must act to ensure that the true impact of regulations on jobs are disclosed to inform the public and members of Congress. Mr. Chairman, I urge all of my colleagues to support this amendment, and I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman from